Radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
So I've been watching some gameplay for the Avengers, and I got some thoughts. My first thought is, it looks really good. It looks damn good. I mean, it doesn't run good. I mean, 30 frames a second, I mean, that's on a good day. I've seen from most of the gameplay from people. But it looks good. All right, the little effects that they do, Hulk's thunderclap, Thor's hammer, freaking the noodle arms of that main character, looks good, looks damn good. Doesn't run good. And I guess my main issue with the game is, and what's going to keep me from buying the game is, the fact that they shoehorn in elements from Destiny and Anthem in this. Okay, those are looter shooters. You got Borderlands, which does it correctly. I would argue Borderlands does it the best. Then you have Destiny, then you have Anthem. And it's a system, I understand, it's a looter shooter. But they've shoehorned that shit into this. The main elements of a looter shooter is you go through, you shoot things. You shoot more things. You shoot more things on top of the other things you shoot before. And you got like a lot of enemies that are bullet sponges. I don't think that works well in a game like this, in a superhero type game. Because you'll have situations where you have freaking Hulk constantly punching a robot. All right? What's that expression? Suspend your disbelief, okay? I could see maybe Black Widow having to hit a robot multiple times to destroy it. But the problem is when you have Hulk in a video game punching a robot over and over again, I just can't get into that. Now one would argue, okay, what are you going to do with Hulk in a video game? What are you going to do with Superman in a video game? This has been a problem ever since, the 90s, where you had Superman going through a side-scrolling beat-em-up, punching up thugs, when one actual punch from Superman would go right through a thug, right? So I understand it. It's a video game. People might say, Rick, it's a video game. But I think it's kind of weird when you have, you're having to nerf Hulk and nerf Thor to shoehorn in Black Widow, but that's beside the point. The looter shooter aspect does not work in a game like this. It just doesn't work. Like, for Hulk, for instance, I saw that a tattered shirt gives him a stat boost. Why the fuck would putting on a tattered shirt give you a stat boost? All right, with Anthem, with Destiny, hey, it makes sense, because you're equipping different armors. All right, in Borderlands, you get a gun, it's more powerful than another gun. It makes sense in your brain. You're like, okay, this gun looks different. It has more power. Same concept. But I would fucking laugh if I'm playing this game and then I equip a tattered shirt, and then it gives me a stat boost. Hulk's mostly fucking naked, all right? It's mostly fucking naked. Outside of him maybe, I don't know, getting armor, putting armor on himself or a helmet, why the fuck would you become stronger or your defense would be up or whatever system they have in this game? I heard the story's good. I like the cutscenes. I've seen a couple of the cutscenes from people playing it. I will say it looks like they spent a lot of time into the story and the cutscenes in the campaign. I hear it's a short campaign. All right, so there's that. But it looks like to me, you just fight robots and more robots over and over again, and maybe some humans, and more robots and more robots. Now, what would get me really interested in this game is an Avengers game, if we have, I don't know, maybe Ultron. I would deal with Ultron as a robot and, Ultron bots, or maybe some people or some villains from the comics or the movies that would show up. Apparently there's only Abomination and Taskmaster. I get Abomination. All right. That's a Hulk's main villain, I guess. But Taskmaster. Oh yeah, that's a high tier villain right there, Taskmaster. And then fucking Aimbot or some more robots. You know, fuck it, this game has so many robots, right? I mean, what do you think? What do you all think about the game? I'm not sold on it, and I want to be, like I said, because I'm a big fan of most of the main Marvel movies. I'm a fan of the comic books. I would like to get into a game like this. Even without maybe perfect 30 frames a second, I could still probably get into a game like this. I mean, parts of it look fun, but I could see myself paying $60, then becoming incredibly fucking bored with it. And on top of that, I think it would really bother me to see that they're trying to charge so much for alternate gear, and I see it has microtransactions. It's just fucking greedy. So, and also it's the online always internet connection. So you have to stay online because of course it's a games as a service. So you pay $60 and let's say in a couple years they quit supporting the game. Right? I could easily see that happening with something like this. With something like maybe Destiny, okay, that can evolve with something like, well, Anthem. I don't know how Anthem's doing nowadays. But you take a risk when you purchase a game as a service. And also, who's to say people won't just stop playing this in months, not years? I saw some people in lobbies, and matchmaking is an issue, by the way. And you look at the names behind this game, like how could there be so many fucking issues? How could it be released in this state? I saw one person waiting in a lobby for 17 minutes in matchmaking. 17 fucking minutes. Right? That's it. I mean, I don't know. There's just too many things. Too many things about this game where I can't recommend it to anyone else. I'm not going to fucking buy it. But what do you think? If you bought the game, tell me how I'm wrong. And again, how would you probably explain a t-shirt Hulk wearing, a tattered t-shirt, giving him a stat boost? And one thing I can't see anyone explain is Captain America has a double jump. That takes me out of the fucking game right there. Because I've never seen Captain America in the movies do a double jump. It's one thing, you know, if he jumps and then maybe his foot hits something and then it, you know, causes him to have a higher jump, okay. Well, double jumps in general, they're kind of fucking stupid. Outside of a video game, you know, have you ever seen anybody like do a double jump and it makes sense? Because you're basically stepping on air. The second jump is air. But there's one reason I would never consider buying this game. Outside of the matchmaking issues. Outside of the terrible frame rate. Outside of the boring looking repetitive combat. No Hawkeye. No Hawkeye! What the fuck are you thinking? No Hawkeye, no buy.